Are you irritated or even frustrated with some of the people around you who may come to you with their problems, or you see their issues and you give them advice because you care and you want to see change happen in their lives, but they just don't seem to be taking your advice and it's creating some frustration that you have with them? This video is for you, especially if you are open to releasing that frustration and that irritation today. If that sounds good to you, I encourage you to stay here until the very end of this video, where I'm going to be giving away a free tool that I give my paid clients that have been proven to be very helpful. My name is Mary Matthews, and I'm a licensed therapist. I'm also a Christian transformational coach. I help women heal from the pain of their past so they can operate in their power and in their purpose. And from time to time, I like to make a video that I believe is going to be helpful, especially if I'm seeing a theme within my clients where we're talking about how to make change happen that is going to shift their future. So as the saying goes, to err is human, and we're all creatures of habit. We all have habits, whether they're good or they're bad. And many of us form the same patterns that we saw our parents do. And they do the same things that they saw their parents do. So what we're dealing with are generational patterns and cycles. The beautiful thing is the point of power is always in the present moment. Many times we can also see people's blind spots, especially as we begin to integrate new information. You're watching this YouTube video or that YouTube video because you're trying to understand yourself. And I remember just a couple years ago, one of the greatest questions on Google that was Googled was, can I change? So people are truly interested in changing things about themselves that they don't like, which is really a beautiful thing because we're talking about having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And when you begin to be enlightened about the power that you do have and changes that you can make, we can begin to see the issues in other people as well that are connected to us. So when they come to us with their problems, we may want to serve them solutions, the very solutions that we're trying to integrate into our own lives, even the ones that we've not yet mastered. However, as we are serving solutions, sometimes people are not always receptive to making changes. As a matter of fact, because, like I said earlier, we're creatures of habits, we can be more connected and want to remain in a place of comfort, a familiar place, even if it's toxic, even if it's not good for us. That's why we have New Year's and the same resolution. We may have new money goals, but still robbing Peter to pay Paul. And now Paul and Peter are showing up like, let me in. We may become frustrated that the people that may be coming to us with their problems, or they're in our proximity and we see their issues, yet they don't see their blind spots when we make them aware of what's happening in their life and they're not taking our advice, or they seem resistant to change. We become frustrated because it's like, well, you can change it. And there's a saying that if you're not changing, you're choosing, right? And you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it. So then we can look at, is this person just emotionally dumping and they just want me to listen to what's happening? Perhaps that also happens in some of the friendships where you may go to one of your girlfriends, or you may go to a guy friend and you're just venting and you want to just let it out. You want to blow off some steam. The reality is there are many people that are battling a fixed mindset where they're like, well, this is just the way I am. This is how it's always been. When they've actually been handed a blueprint of generational patterns that until they integrate new information and implement that information, they're going to have limiting beliefs. So many times we may become frustrated with that. It could be someone who is spending a lot of money, and they're not saving, or they have a weight loss issue, or maybe they're not taking the time to organize their clothes or their household or their closet, or perhaps they're constantly running out of gas and not taking the time to put gas in the tank. I don't know. Maybe it could be showing up late to a place. So how do we deal with these frustrations, Miriam? I'm glad you asked, because the truth is you can't change nobody. You can only be the change that you want to see. And many times the things that frustrate us about other people are actually the very things that we're struggling with too, in a similar form. So I'll use myself as an example. I remember hearing my mom, her frustration and seeing an issue with weight loss and health issues, and her setting goals and not being able to accomplish it. And hearing just her concern day after day, month after month, year after year, as long as I can remember, and experiencing some frustration with her. And some of it may have come across passive aggressive or critical, especially if I felt she was being critical towards me. I recognized that I was getting a little irritated and I didn't like how I was coming across. I actually felt guilty at times with the way I was responding or things that I was saying. And yeah, we're supposed to tell the truth, but we don't just tell it like it is. Truth is stated in love. And there should always be compassion when we're giving constructive feedback. So anytime that we are saying something and we feel guilty later on, it's important to reflect how we're coming across, or think about why we're even frustrated to begin with. And when I really began to understand human behavior and how sometimes what we're trying to change in somebody else is something that we're currently struggling with ourselves, I had to really be honest with myself. I was also frustrated with me not losing the weight that I wanted to lose after having children. I was a bit frustrated with my own eating habits. I had been doing some emotional eating and eating for comfort or eating out of boredom. I was also frustrated with not exercising and had been, in some level of grief as to how I used to exercise back in middle school and high school. And I was such an athlete. And now being a mom of 4, I'm like, man, I miss how I would just go and run or play basketball. I would run track. And I remember just enjoying the short distance running. And now I'm like, it's so hard for me to even carve out time to just run, walk a mile or do a dance workout. And I started to notice all of my limiting beliefs as well. But I remember being a part of this group, connected to this group who was about to embark on this spiritual fast and just drink liquids. We're going to have strategic prayer points and, do devotion. And I felt everything in me want to resist it. And I'm like, God, this is going to be so hard for me to do. But I said, you know what? I sign up for it. I want to stand in the gap. I want to do this as well with you all. So I made a decision, because decisions and choices are two different things. I decided that day I was going to do it regardless of my body not wanting to do it. The connection triggered something in me. The connection of people who wanted to embark on this thing activated something in me, and I decided to join and hold myself, allow myself to be held accountable to what they're doing and to commit to finishing with them. And y'all, I surprised myself. I actually did it. So one thing I learned is that new connection that I formed was obviously different and a shift from the connection of, the ones that I was in close proximity with, that I might have been frustrated with. And that frustration also stemmed from frustration with myself, because it was the same area that maybe I was preaching about, but not practicing. And that new connection that new alliance where they were working on something specific helped to jumpstart what I wanted to do. And we held ourselves accountable to it. We met online and we would pray together. I would spend time in my word and meditate on Proverbs and get all that wisdom, which is all about implementation, new information and implementation. I'd read the books in Matthew about Jesus and his interaction with people, and then implement it in my day-to-day life. And it shifted everything because it helped to form a new foundation, healthy habits, new patterns, a new precedent. I began to realize these issues didn't start with me, but they can stop with me. Y'all, in a matter of like 10 days, I lost 15 pounds. I began to go on walks daily. And even if it was a 5-minute walk or a 10-minute walk, it was worth it to me. And as I began to do it, it felt so innate. It became innately a part of me. It was a new habit, like brushing my teeth. I'm like, I have to go on a walk. I must do this now because I've been doing it. And then I started doing it multiple times a day, whereas before I didn't have the time for it. And then I felt guilty for not doing it, and guilty for eating the cookies, or guilty for overeating or eating out of boredom. Now I am exercising my body because my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and I need my body in order to fulfill my mission. And I need to be fueled not just with food, but the Word of God. And I was integrating these things, and it made all the difference. I became the change that I wanted to see. So I invite you to look at those areas where you may have been frustrated with other people, and to consider where you want to make changes within your own self. Reflect on your own goals. You have your own goals, and those goals need new habits. Think about how you will feel 3 months from now, or even 6 months from now, if you were to get started. You can get started today. All it takes is your decisive yes. And let me know in the comment section what resonates with you, or what is a new habit that you want to start today. And if you want a proven tool that is going to help you break down how to form new habits and actually how to make it sustainable so that you're consistent and you're creating discipline, just click on the link below and you're going to receive it immediately. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Take care.